I did hear from a little ESPN source. No, it's not. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
Fox Sports, but Julio Jones trade rumors are heating up, and I did hear that the Patriots
Yep.
had an internal conversation about him. And I
Yep.
tell you what, that's a little scary. That's a little scary in
Yeah,
the fact that he could go play with Cam Newton, which I think those two would ball out. But then you also have
for
Mac
sure.
Jones underneath Cam, which would probably just accelerate his growth because it's a lot easier to go from Cam Newton to Mac Jones when you have a top two
Yes.
receiver on your team. So
Yes.
it'll be interesting if the Patriots is the landing spot for Julio Jones, but we will see.
Sure. I think I also saw him in Dallas Cowboys hoodie the other day. I think somebody snapped a photo of him
Really?
uh, in a Dallas Cowboys hoodie. I think I saw something like that, or there was some connection to the Cowboys. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I believe it was some connection to the Cowboys. Which once again, I mean, same thing, right? I mean, Julio Jones is a weird one because he's so good
Yeah.
that like you could arguably just put him anywhere and like he's gonna make that quarterback's life easier and he's gonna make that offense better.
Yep.
It's a weird thing because he's so dominant. I think I saw today that he since 2015 is Pro Football Focus's number one receiver
Really?
since so for 6 years now. I mean, in that
Yeah.
period, and that is the period with the other guys like that are up there.
Yep.
Devontae Adams has been
Yep.
in the league, like Julio Jones is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
So I agree with you though. I think the Patriots are super interesting. I
Yep.
think the Cowboys are super interesting. And then you've got a couple of these other teams that are weird, right? I don't know that the Packers could pull it off,
Yeah.
but you've got that Aaron Rodgers drama.
For
I don't know
sure.
that you'd want to pair him with Devontae
Yeah.
Adams. I think there's a few teams like that, right? Where you have some of these quarterbacks that are like maybe not totally happy.
Yep.
Russell Wilson's an interesting one. Seemingly
Yeah.
wanted to be traded. He seemingly wanted to be traded at the time, right? The Bears, that was a whole story that was potentially going to
Yep.
happen. Are the Seahawks maybe looking to, make a move, try to get Julio Jones to make Russell Wilson happy, right? That's an interesting thing. If I had to guess, he's going to go to a contender because why would you not at this point? And obviously, his only Super Bowl appearance, we all know what happened there. So I think probably a contender. I think you're probably only looking at like 6 teams that he would go to. But I'm not. I mean, I'm not an NFL
Yeah.
insider. This is just my analysis from sitting in my house. But it does. I mean, I don't think he's chasing a bunch of money and accolades. He's kind of won every award. He's got the money.
Yeah.
I think at this point,
Now,
it's about winning.
now, do you think this is more of a Julio Jones calling the shots of this, or do you think this is more of the Atlanta Falcons moving in a different direction and they're seeing
It's
Julio still at his peak? He's a little up there in age, and they're going to see his value start to drop. So why not go and get some value for him? Because the unique thing here is like you go and draft Kyle Pitts in the draft, and now you turn around and you get or you're actively looking to trade Julio Jones.
right.
So that's odd because you think that 1-2 punch and those two guys alone
Right.
would be tremendous.
Yeah.
So I almost wonder if they're trying to move away from him because they feel like they got a guy in Kyle Pitts who is going to be a dominant force like a Julio Jones. So why not let's move Julio Jones and let's fill in some of these other needs that we have because we feel like we have the guy to replace him year one.
Yeah, I think
Also, a lot of pressure for a guy like Kyle Pitts, but I think he can
absolutely.
rise
But
to
an
it.
opportunity, right? Because it is truth. It now, if
For
they
sure.
move Julio Jones, it is truthfully an opportunity for him to actually like come in, step in, fill a role that they need, right? But the
Yep.
other thing that's interesting about the Julio Jones thing, I did read an article that said a lot of this is apparently a salary cap situation as well. For them to keep Julio
Yeah.
Jones, they would have to move multiple other like starters to fit in under the salary cap, and that I guess is problematic because it's kind of what you spoke
Yeah,
to.
for sure.
It sounds like the conversation is more, or it seems like the mindset is like, hey, look, I mean, maybe let's not lose 3 defensive starters or something, or
Yeah.
whatever it is,
And maybe potentially 2 offensive
to
starters
keep Julio like at this
yeah,
point. When, to be honest, if you're in the same division as the Buccaneers, now is the rebuild time. Let's just get it kicked off.
for sure.
Let's move Julio Jones.
For
Let's
sure.
get some
It's
picks. let's ride it out with
Yep.
Matt Ryan for another year or two, but we will continue to get picks.
Yep.
We've got Kyle
And,
Pitts. Now we go get a couple other people. Atlanta's always going
yeah.
to be a free agent destination. I mean, who doesn't love the
Yep.
ATL, right? I mean, at the end of
Hey.
the day, you got all the fan favorites down there, right?
Yep.
It is a place where you can get free agents at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. And so I do think that, and free agents, in football, it's interesting because a lot of those free agents, if you want to play near home, a lot of those guys are from the South, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
I'm here like in the South, and that's where you're getting all the talent from. That's where all those guys go, right? And so a lot of these guys that are from the South Carolina, the Georgia, the Florida, the Alabama, when they grow up, Atlanta is the hub. I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's the spot you want to be, if you're not playing for one of those Florida teams. So
Yep.
I think that they maybe are
That
starting to.
southeastern market.
For sure. And that's like what it is. It's at the end of the day, like I think that's what they might be doing. I think that's what the Falcons might be looking at. So pretty interesting though. I mean, if you're a Falcons fan, you're gonna see some shifts going on these next couple years, and I'm here for it. I think it's Falcons are always an interesting team. And always have
For
been.
sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about back in the days with Michael Vick and things like that. When he came on, he was electric.
yep.
Brett Favre was with them, and then they traded him away like idiots. It's just like the amount of talent they've had that come
Yep.
through that organization. They haven't been able to hang on to it all, but pretty tremendous. But that is more interesting take that it is a salary cap thing because like, and who knows how many other starters they would have to move in order to keep Julio Jones.
Right.
And when you're talking about moving starters,
Right.
and if it gets over that 3 number to keep one starter, then it's probably
What are you gonna do?
you
Right.
definitely have to weigh your options, and it's not most likely not weighing it in the favor of Julio Jones. So it will be interesting to see where he handles. I'll be interested to
Yep.
see what happens with Kyle Pitts. How how he dominates the league this year, because I tell you what, he's probably going to dominate the league,
He very well could.
especially if he's
Hey,
the number one
could
receiver
be
in
rookie of the
Atlanta.
year. You never know, right?
I mean,
Might be
yep.
a
I mean, he
dark
does
horse.
he does have a competent quarterback to
He
get
does,
it to
and
him.
he's a hell of a
So
player.
it's not like he's coming. It's not like he's coming to doesn't know what he's doing in the NFL. Matt Ryan does know what he's doing.
Oh yeah.
Still got
Oh
to
yeah. No
continue
doubt.
to prove himself and things like that. But he'll put up some numbers this year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.